whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, that voice resonates with Americans. He is becoming so mainstream that people like Tucker Carlson are about to do an interview with him. His podcast, he's banned on everything, but his podcast was unbanned on Spotify. For whatever reason, the platform decided to unban it. I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to ban it again. At some point, people are going to have to start coming to the realization, start digesting the fact that America is becoming the most right it's ever been. This is the greatest cultural shift we've ever seen. We went from in the 2010s when Barack Obama was president, people literally never thinking.
I know we talk about how social media has destroyed society, and to some extent it has, but there's also been a lot of good that's come out of it. And one of the good things is that women have always been able to manipulate people to get their way. We lie, we're deceitful, we're just not honest a lot of the time. And so what tends to happen is women in the past would get away with a lot more lying and manipulation. Challenges today, a lot of it's on camera. Women are going to have a harder time lying and manipulating. And you could say the same thing about the left, because the left in general is the party of women.
We will ever have a Republican as president again. And even fast forward to 2020, where Trump got booted out of the White House, people saying that the Republican Party needs to turn the page, they need to become more moderate, they need to get rid of Trump, and Trump's never going to sniff the presidency again. To 2025, and late 2025, where majority of the people, especially our age, know the name Nick Fuentes, and he's popular, he resonates.
You know what's crazy? When I first had him on my show, I actually had no idea who he was. I'd only seen him on, let me preface. I had seen a few clips of him. I knew he was controversial. I did not know his stuff that well. And I could not believe the reaction that people had towards me for having him on. Trigonometry is a supposed free speech platform, and they pestered me for 2 hours, bitching at me about having him on. I did a clip of them doing that in there, right there, edit it in. I had my staff turn on me for having him on. I had friends turn on me. It was just insane. And now it's so crazy because I think I was just a year early. Now everyone's having him on.
It's with people. If you told anyone that back in 2020, they would look at you like you were crazy. The fact is that guy is the evidence that we have become so right-wing. We have shifted the culture to this way. Who is Nick Fuentes? If you don't know who Nick Fuentes is now, in 1 month you're going to know who he is, because you cannot go in.
And now you have the left-wing e-girls thirst trapping over him. Oh, it's so funny.
Instagram, you cannot go on TikTok, you cannot go on X without seeing a clip from this guy's show. That's how popular he is. In fact, I'm so confident that the people that are watching this video that don't know who he is, if I showed you a clip of him or a video of him or a picture of him, you know exactly who he is. That's how popular he is now. This is who our country is becoming. And whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, that voice resonates with Americans. He is becoming so mainstream that people like Tucker Carlson are about to do an interview with him. His podcast is banned on everything, but his podcast was unbanned on Spotify. For whatever reason, the platform decided to unban it. I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to ban it again.
That lasted like a day.
But they unbanned it for a couple days, and his podcast skyrocketed to #1 over Joe Rogan.
It's crazy. This kid has pull. He really has pull, honestly.
I'm going to say that again. Joe Rogan, if you know how big Joe Rogan is, you know how big of a deal this is. His podcast was #1 in Spotify over Joe Rogan, and then Spotify rebanned.
Do you know what it is? Partially, he has this sense of humor that used to be common on TV, and now we just don't see it anymore. Because again, all of the buying decisions are made by women. You lose so much money. You lose so much money by going against women. So anything that offends women has to go, unfortunately.
And him again after a couple days. That's how popular he is. That's how much he resonates.
Ask me how I know. They came for me too. Go to theaudacitynetwork.com if you want to donate, keep me on here.
With Americans today, especially the young people. This is just to show you that people are sick and tired of the powers that be, Republican and Democrat, because Nick Fuentes is neither. The powers that be have pushed the limits. People are sick of it. People don't want to, when you've put us through the COVID hysteria, when you tell people that they are anti-Semitic for just having the simple belief that we should not be killing women and children needlessly, when you tell people that you can't be grounded in reality, that you have to accept the fantasy reality that women can play in men's sports and it's totally fine, or men can play in
I actually say put more men in women's sports. Women keep voting for it. Go get beat up. I don't care. Put them in.
women's sports, vice versa, and it's
I know what team I'm sports betting on.
totally fine. When you tell people that we are going to bail out the banks and the top 1%, and we're not going to look after the hardworking Americans, and we're going to do H-1B visas and bring in a ton of people when Americans could well do the job. When you tell people that there's nothing we can do about that, they got to send their money to Ukraine and to Israel to fight foreign wars, and we're going to have to fight all these wars, and we're not going to do anything to help our fellow neighbors and our fellow man. When you tell people there's nothing you can do to make our cities cleaner, there's just everything.
And, I'm under the belief that women keep voting for this stuff. Women want abortion. We want the right to kill our kids so bad that we're willing to sacrifice safety. In Chicago, there's a man going out that keeps getting released from prison that punches women in the face. He just goes up to them and punches them in the face. And you know what women say? We say, we're going to vote Democrat. I'm actually going to turn down men for being conservative while we're getting punched in the face. Women.
People are fed up and frustrated. And what do you get when that happens? When you kill a man who is as moderate as they come for having civil debate and dialogue with people, and you shoot him in front of everyone to see, in front of his wife and his kids, right in the neck, for everyone to see. Pretty modest views. People are frustrated. You get Nick Fuentes, who is accumulation of that frustration, who, whether you like it or not, is the most important voice in America and the voice of America. Because nobody resonates with Americans clearly like he does now, or else, despite being banned on almost everything, his voice carries. People see him all the time. People want to hear what he has to see, what he says on every topic. That tells you something. That no matter how much they tried to censor this guy, there's no point of it anymore. There's no point.
They'll try again. I'm very nervous for the conservative regime, I guess you could say, to end. I have no idea what my life will be like under the next Democrat that gets elected because women want abortion. God help us.
That is the power of the frustration, of the accumulation, how much they've pushed these limits, how much the powers that be have pushed the limits, that we get this now. And it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I go on Instagram Reels now, and you go to your mutuals to see what people are liking. I have chicks in my life that don't know anything about politics that are liking Nick Fuentes Reels. Do you know how crazy that sounds? I never thought I would hear the day.
It's gotten mainstream. I never thought I'd see the day where leftists are thirst trapping for them. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you want to support me, please go to theaudacitynetwork.com. I thought that he was brilliant when he came on the show. I thought he was really smart. I never understood the pushback that I got for having him on. I never understood why he was so hated, because really he's a nice guy. He was always really nice to me and my staff when he came in. So anyways, guys, make sure you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell, and I will see you next time.